Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the most pivotal conflicts in history, and I'm your host, General Biography. Today, we're going to explore one of the most decisive battles of the 18th century, the Battle of Blenheim, fought on August 13, 1704. This clash of arms would change the course of European history, showcasing the brilliance of tactical innovation and the devastating consequences of strategic miscalculation. The War of the Spanish Succession, sparked by the death of King Charles II of Spain in 1700, had drawn in major powers like France, Austria, Great Britain, and the Dutch Republic. This complex web of alliances and rivalries would test the mettle of even the most seasoned commanders. The war was fought on multiple fronts, from the sun-drenched plains of Spain to the fog-shrouded valleys of the Rhine, and from the rolling hills of Italy to the wind-swept coastlines of the Netherlands. In 1701, King Louis XIV of France, determined to expand his dominion over Europe, began to mobilize his armies along the Rhine. The French monarch's ambitions were not merely territorial. He sought to assert his claim to the Spanish throne and secure control over the lucrative trade routes that crisscrossed the continent. As French forces massed on the border, the Grand Alliance, a coalition of Austria, Great Britain, and the Dutch Republic, began to take shape. In 1702, the Allied armies, led by the Duke of Marlborough and Prince Eugene of Savoy, launched a series of campaigns aimed at containing French expansion. The war raged across Europe, with battles fought in the Low Countries, Germany, and Italy. As the conflict intensified, both sides suffered heavy losses, and the outcome hung precariously in the balance. In the spring of 1704, Marshal Tallard, a seasoned veteran of the French army, was tasked by King Louis XIV to deliver a decisive victory in Germany. He had at his disposal a powerful army with some of the finest cavalry and infantry units in Europe. However, he was also under pressure from the French monarch to achieve a quick and decisive victory, which would secure French dominance over the continent. As the two armies closed in on each other, the air was thick with tension, and the soldiers on both sides knew that they were about to engage in a battle for the ages. The strategic context was clear: control of the Rhineland, and with it, the fate of Europe. The town of Blenheim, situated in the rolling countryside of Bavaria, would become the focal point of this epic struggle. Its strategic location, nestled between the Danube River and the foothills of the Swabian Alps, made it a crucial prize for both sides. As the armies converged on Blenheim, the local population braced themselves for the impending storm, knowing that their homes and livelihoods would soon be caught in the crossfire. This pivotal moment in European history would witness the convergence of brilliant tactical innovation and devastating strategic miscalculation. As the two armies faced off on the blood-soaked fields of Blenheim, the air was thick with tension. The French army, bolstered by its impressive cavalry and infantry units, seemed poised for victory. However, the Duke of Marlborough had a few tricks up his sleeve. He had carefully studied the terrain, recognizing the potential of the rolling hills and wooded areas to funnel the French troops into kill zones. Meanwhile, Prince Eugene of Savoy, with his deep understanding of the Austrian army's strengths and weaknesses, played a crucial role in coordinating the Allied forces. The battle commenced with a series of skirmishes between the Allied and French cavalry units. The French horsemen, renowned for their bravery and skill, charged headlong into the fray, only to be met by the disciplined volleys of the British infantry. As the French cavalry wavered, the Duke of Marlborough seized the initiative, launching a bold flanking maneuver that caught the French off guard. The Allied forces, now gaining momentum, began to push the French back towards the Danube River. One of the most pivotal moments in the battle came when the British infantry, supported by Austrian and Dutch troops, launched a daring assault on the French-held village of Blenheim. The fighting was fierce, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. However, the Allies' superior artillery and disciplined firepower ultimately told, as they slowly but surely pushed the French out of the village. As the day wore on, the French army began to crumble under the relentless Allied pressure. Marshal Tallard's attempts to rally his troops were in vain, as the Duke of Marlborough's tactical genius and the bravery of the Allied soldiers proved too much for them. By the end of the day, the French army was in full retreat, leaving behind thousands of dead and wounded comrades. The Battle of Blenheim was a crushing defeat for the French, with estimates suggesting that they lost over 30,000 men, including many high-ranking officers. The Allied forces, on the other hand, suffered significantly fewer casualties, with around 12,000 killed or wounded. The victory marked a significant turning point in the War of the Spanish Succession, as it halted French expansion and secured a major triumph for the Grand Alliance. The bravery and sacrifice of the soldiers who fought on that fateful day will never be forgotten, and their legacy continues to shape our understanding of military history. The aftermath of this pivotal moment in European history was marked by significant consequences that shaped the course of the War of the Spanish Succession and left a lasting legacy that continues to influence modern warfare. The crushing defeat of the French army at Blenheim had far-reaching implications for the war effort. The loss of over 30,000 men, including many high-ranking officers, dealt a severe blow to French morale and military capabilities. The Grand Alliance, on the other hand, was buoyed by their victory, which halted French expansion and secured a major triumph for the coalition. In the years that followed, the Battle of Blenheim proved to be a turning point in the War of the Spanish Succession. The Allied forces, now bolstered by their victory, were able to gain the upper hand in the conflict, eventually leading to the signing of the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713. This treaty marked the end of the war and had significant consequences for the European balance of power, as it led to the rise of Britain and the decline of French influence on the continent. The Battle of Blenheim also had a lasting impact on military tactics and strategy. The Duke of Marlborough's innovative use of terrain and his bold flanking maneuver have been studied by military historians and strategists for centuries. The battle demonstrated the importance of adaptability, discipline, and logistical prowess on the battlefield, lessons that continue to be relevant today. Furthermore, the Battle of Blenheim marked a significant shift in the way wars were fought. The use of artillery, infantry, and cavalry in a coordinated manner, as seen at Blenheim, became a hallmark of modern warfare. The battle also highlighted the importance of intelligence gathering, scouting, and reconnaissance, as the Duke of Marlborough's careful study of the terrain and his use of spies and scouts played a crucial role in the Allied victory. In addition to its military significance, the Battle of Blenheim also had a profound impact on the cultural and social landscape of Europe. The battle was seen as a symbol of British bravery and martial prowess, and it helped to cement Britain's position as a major military power. The battle also inspired numerous works of art, literature, and music, including the famous poem, The Battle of Blenheim, by Robert Southey. The soldiers who fought on that fateful day in 1704 left behind a legacy that continues to shape our understanding of military history and inspire new generations of leaders, strategists, and historians. In conclusion, the Battle of Blenheim was a pivotal moment in European history, one that had far-reaching consequences for the War of the Spanish Succession and beyond. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.